Hi there, folks. I'm very excited to be doing this little tour for you because the software really has blown my mind a little bit. In such a short amount of time, the developers, Michael, and with a massive amount of help from Jeff, have created a fantastic piece of software that really addresses a lot of my issues that I have with the decent software. It's just so much more pleasant to use, in my opinion. So let me show you what's so great about it. I'm going to use this a Windows app. It usually runs natively as an Android app on your tablet, but it can also run on iOS as well as on Apple computers and obviously on Windows. So the interface is really quite simple and clean, as you can see, but it's actually really powerful and got some fantastic features. It's hugely customizable. You can change the colors, the positions, the shapes, the buttons, or the data that you've got displayed here, what the clicks do on each of the icons do. So there's a lot that you can do. You can even have buttons that have 3 actions, like this one here I've customized. It's got 3 actions. Then you can customize, all these things, but you can also use the thing called a web app, which is a web, browser-based software that has some amazing features of its own, including a more powerful customization and layout editing. So now the basic thing is that you don't have to have all these buttons here. I just have them all here because I use all of them. Some people might just want to have espresso and history and flush or something like that. I don't know. Maybe they don't need all the other stuff. If you click on espresso, it gives you a list of your favorites that you've chosen as favorites. So whatever you click on, it's going to choose that particular one as the next shot. And then you can see now it says that Debian's LRV2. If you clicked on here and you went to extract a window, it would be choosing that. When you go to favorites, you get a list of your favorite shots that you've done recently, and you can find something that's more what you want to do today. So, for example, I don't want to use this Ethiopian natural. I want to go for my Java mix, and I want to use Cremina. I can load it, and now when I load it, you'll notice this pop-up comes up, which is an option. You don't have to have this popping up. It could go straight back to your home screen. But why it's good is that if you're dialing in, it gives you the opportunity to choose one of your grind settings that you've used in the past, or create or edit it to make a new one. If you're dialing in, you might want to just tweak it a little bit. So you can do that. Instead of 25,1400, I can use, say, 25,000 RPM. And then it's chosen that as my thing. And when I do the shot, it's going to have the correct grind setting in there already. So I love that you can set that first and you don't have to remember to do it afterwards or anything like that. So it's just a really good way of having your data be kind of correct and useful. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I think it's just a great way of doing it. Plus, in your favorites, if you just want to choose a favorite and say, okay, I'm using this grind setting, that grind setting, you can do that. You don't have to, go to this interface and make changes. But you always end up with the correct information. If you're taking care of this before you do your shot, then you've got the correct information for your shot, which is, why wouldn't you want that? The other thing about this shot plan, this is called a shot plan. When you click on it and you kind of choose a different preset, you can choose from any of the presets that are even not your favorites. So by doing that, say for example, something I don't use, default espresso, and I'm going to set the grind setting. I'm guessing I'm going to need to do this kind of, so maybe I go there and I go, okay, fine. I want to have the yield to be, I don't know, 37 grams. You can update the profile if you want, or you can just say okay, and that's going to stop at that weight. So it's setting your machine to obey these instructions and have this correct data once you do the shot. So you can choose a shot that's not one of your favorites. If you go to your espresso here, you see that particular default espresso isn't listed as one of my favorites. It's now in green over there because that's what's going to be shot next. And you see this little eye here. If you click on that, it takes you to what the parameters are and the notes of this particular preset. So you can have a quick look to see what this says, what the targets are. If the creator of the thing had done their job properly, they would have put a nice thing in there saying approximately this amount of time, this is the yield, or this is the time that you should get it to get the right sort of thing, this kind of pressure, blah, blah, blah. So the other way of choosing your shot, if you go to favorites on this gear, I can choose what I'm grouping stuff by. Now, say for example, because I've got grinder there, it's separated shots that have the same profile and the same bean, but have a different grind setting. So look at these two here. They're both Cremina and they're both Mocha Java, but one is 24, the other one's 22, and they're listed separately. If you go to the gear here and you go take out grinder and you just go to profile, then it's going to lump those together. So the Mocha Java and Cremina are together. There's 6 shots over here. And if I go to show, it's going to take me to my shot history and show me those 6 shots, which is superb. It's basically filtered out exactly what I want to look at. I want to have this Mocha Java bean. I want to use Cremina. And these are the options that I've had. These are the different shots. These are the results that I've had. And if I click on one of them, so if I go to view it, now on Android you can just swipe, but I guess on Windows it's different. So you can go, yeah, so it's newer shot and older shot. There's no swipe on the Windows app here. So you can look at this shot over here, and I can look at, from shot to shot, looking at the different parameters and seeing how they change, see what the reasons for the differences are. And if, for example, I wanted this particular grind setting here, maybe I thought that this one here, 24, was the one to well, actually it's too long. This one looks pretty good, so 24. I'm going to go load, and you'll see now that exactly these details will be loaded to my home screen. Let me go back to my home screen, Cremina, Mocha Java, 24, 1400. So from the favorites, I looked at the details, the kind of the preset and the beans that I wanted, and the different shots that I've done, chose the one that I liked, and then loaded it. And now all those parameters are in here, ready for you to just press the make the coffee button, which I think is fantastic. I mean, it's just I just wish the default Decent app would have come up with something so simple and clever. Then the last way to find shots, I guess, is just basically in your history, which is where the favorites had taken us. But there's other things to show you here. Primarily, the super powerful searching shots. So, say for example, I've got some beans that I haven't had for a while back again, and I want to use maybe a D-flow, and I just type in flow, and I know that the bean I want is Yemeni, so it's Yem. Look at that. It's automatically, out of 5,000 something shots that it's got here, it immediately finds my D-flow shots that are using the Yemen East-West blend, and also my Yemen, which are the East Haraz and the West Haraz. So super powerfully, it just quickly finds the stuff. Plus, let me show you this here. This is super nice. If I just go, for example, I want to find all Cremina shots that have a rating of over 80%. So rating, and I just go 80 plus, and boom, it finds, you see there, these ones all have ratings. It doesn't show me anything that doesn't have ratings. It shows me only the ones that are within the parameters that I choose. And you could do the same with dose, yield, time, TDS, and extraction yield. Super powerful and super easy. And you get to see these things. You can now click on this one. This is, okay, let's just look at these two here. They're similar, this one and this one. And I'm going to click compare. And now I've got both shots over here. You can see that there's 2 different shots here. If I wanted to disable the one, I could disable the one and disable the other and have a look at that. I can also disable the different parameters. I usually take out the resistance because it's too noisy. And it's nice and easy to look at there. You can actually expand this or contract it if you want. Down here it has your side-by-side details. You can compare grind size, you know the preset, you know the times, you know everything. Beautiful. I just love it. Really, really, really well done. The last thing that you can do, which is also amazing, so for example, let's just do a quick one again, Yem, so it's Criminy and Yemeni. So it's found all those shots, and now I can save that as a search parameter. So now next time here, I've got all my 5,000 shots listed over here, and I just go to saved, and I've got Krem Yem, or I can type Ethiopian rating between 19 to, so I've got all the Ethiopian shots that have that sort of rating. Brilliant. So I can either load it, which means, as I showed you previously, takes it to the home screen and loads it into the shot for the next shot. Edit, E is edit, so you can go here and you can edit the parameters. You can change the rating, you can change details as much as you want. And the last thing is just to view without editing, which allows you to go to the next shot and the previous shot if you've got a list of shots that have been found. All extremely powerful and magnificent. I forgot to show you that in your history, it also searches your personal notes. So say, for example, I had a fantastic shot on my birthday and I wrote down birthday as a keyword in my own personal notes. If I type in, look at that, it finds me, this shot was done on my birthday. If I click on it, and I can look at it, and I can say birthday coffee. That's why I found that from my notes. So super powerful. You can put in whatever you like into your notes, and it will find it in that search and filter function. And you can combine that with another word like Cremino or something else. Just so excellent. The last thing I wanted to show you was looking at the presets. As I mentioned earlier, I've got this profile button over here, which does 3 different things. If I click it once, it takes me to a list of my profiles that are possible, that are selected. Then it gives me a list of my favorites over here, and I'll show you a bit about that later. A double click takes me to the dflow editor, in which case I can kind of look at each of these different sort of sections and make edits as necessary and save it as a different preset, or just correct the preset. And then a press and click takes me to the advanced editor, which edits the exact same thing but in a slightly different way. So those are 3 different uses for the same button. So if I click on it and go to the profiles, it's going to give me 2 lists over here. The first one on the left here shows me either my selected, which are the ones that I've chosen as potentially favorites, but not yet chosen as favorites. They're just selected ones. The ones that are for cleaning, the ones that are decent ones, the ones that I've downloaded from Visualizer, ones that I've created myself, and then all profiles. If you go to all profiles, I'm going to show you obviously all profiles. When you've got a star next to it, it means that it's been selected to be one of your selected ones. So say Blooming Orange. If I select Blooming Orange, it doesn't actually arrive in your favorites. What you're selecting here is going to go to your selected. So there's 2 stages. These are all profiles. And if I go to selected, it shows me now I've got Orange is now there, but there's no star. So as soon as I star it, it now appears over here. I don't want it though. So that's how that goes. And then all these are your favorites that appear on your home screen. If I wanted, say, Cremina to be top of the list, which I generally do, then I go back to the home screen and you can see Cremina's the first thing there. The other thing I wanted to show you in the profiles section was the creation of a new profile. So you can either click on Visualizer and enter the code and just import it, which is something we're all familiar with from the DE-1 software. Or you can get it from the tablet. Like, say, for example, you've just installed the software. You can actually get profiles from your tablet. It'll look for tablets, sort of profiles on your tablet. Or you just create a new one. So you can say, okay, you want to create a new pressure profile, any of these particular options here. So say, for example, dflow, you start off with that. You're going to say, okay, you want it to be this many bars, you want it to be that many seconds. The infusion, you want a bit like that. You want the pressure to be a bit lower, temperature to be a bit lower. So you can do all these things per section really quickly, and you just go done, and you save it as whatever you want. It's obviously crap there, so I'm going to remove that. Very easy. I wanted to just show you how the adjustment of the parameters works really nicely. As you see, we have the 9 bar thing, it's in green, and you can tap on the plus and minuses, but if you tap in the middle, you get this nice huge thing, which also has plus and minuses. But now you can scroll left and right with your finger. And if that's not fast enough, like say for example, well, bars, you don't want to go ballistic, but say for example, milliliters, let's tap on that, it's nice blue now. That's milliliters. But if we go down a step, it's going to go to 10 at a time. So you can adjust tens at a time. And another one, you go hundreds at a time. So it depends on the actual parameter that you're adjusting. It's intelligently scaling the sort of the way that you're adjusting it according to what it is. So it works fantastically well, and it's just so tactile and delicious to use. Hey guys, I've had my 2 cups of coffee today already, so I'm going to make a shot for my wife. She's dying for a cup, so I need to speed this up a little. Anyways, I've ground the coffee already, but if you see on the screen over here, it's set for Cremina, Mocha Java 50/50, which is the blend that I've got of 2 of these coffees here. Everything's pretty much as I wanted. If I look at my history, I've got some shots that I did earlier today. These are mine. They were not so bad and looked like grind size 25 was okay. I went for 26 at one point, but I think I'm going to go down 25 because this is later on in the day. So I'm going back to the home screen, and I'm going to do her water first. She likes to have about 80 grams of water. So here we go. It'll probably go up to 79, or no, probably 77 or so. I haven't calibrated it yet, but there is a calibration thing. But yeah, I haven't done that yet. Lots of other stuff to do, much more cool stuff to do. And there we go, boom. Right, and now I've got the thing in there. If you can see there, I've got everything set as it should be, Cremina, Mocha Java, etc. If I tap on it, it brings up the thing here if I wanted to make any changes. Actually, I do, because the last time I used grind size at 1,000 RPM, now I'm going for 1,400, but that's what I ground this time, so that'll be correct now. I'm going to do the shot and see what happens. Notice that as the time proceeds, you got these notifications up there. See, there's a time one and here's another one. Now, those are showing you the reasons for move on in the different phases. So each time the phase has a move on, it displays what the reason is for the move on, which is really amazing, actually. I like that a lot. And you can also see in all your shots the reason for the move on. As you see there, it says soak, and then there's a T next to it, and a ramp T next to it. So now each of those things are saying that the reason for a move on in those cases was a time-based move on. And that data is kept there with all your history of your shots. You know why there was a move on. Right, shot done. So now I'm going to do some milk. I need about 80 grams of milk for her. So I want to pop this on here. I'm going to tear the scale. I can actually take it off for a bit so I can pour in what I think is 80 grams, like that. 92, 93, so I'll go a teaspoon and a half out of there. 87, maybe a tiny touch more. She doesn't like it too milky. Very nice to be able to have an interface where you can, like for example over here, steam. What my suggestion is going to be is that when you're in steam mode, it always subtracts what it knows to be the weight of your jar. So when you put this on here, you don't have to tear it. It just shows you the weight of the empty jar, and you take it off, put it on, it just calculates the weight of the milk, and that'll be fantastic. I'm sure it's quite an easy thing to do, and I'm sure that they'll put it in. So let's go for some steam. While that's happening, I'm a male that can multitask a little bit. So bang that out there, use the tap, clean it out a bit, clean portafilter, use the other hand, stick it back there. Now I can feel it's actually quite hot for my wife, it's plenty. And you can see the steam settings there are quite cool. You can actually set how long it takes before it purges, which is great for some people. In fact, that's apparently why Michael invented the software in the first place. He got annoyed by the fact that it is too short a time between stopping the steam and purging. For me, it was perfect. But I'm glad he was annoyed because he made this fantastic software. So thank you for annoyance. But I wanted to show you in that steam process, when you're steaming, it tells you plus or minus. So you can add or subtract time while it's going along. So you can do that. You can also adjust your flow on this interface. That's pretty cool. I think that's really nice. So let me just take my wife her coffee. Latte art. All right, so one of the things that I wanted to kind of comment upon on the actual interface here is what a pleasure it is to be working on a native Android interface. I mean, I can't tell you how pleasurable it is to be able to, for example, if I go to my history, so like this is the shot I've just done here, and let's just say that that's really nice. I just tasted it, 94. If I want to add some notes, I just tap in there and I can just push the microphone icon and say, this was rather delicious. And that's it. I don't have to, well, got and as well now, but you don't have to sort of deal with the tiny little keyboard and stuff. You can dictate a whole sentence if you want, which is, I love that. Plus you can select, copy and paste, move things around. Also, which is amazing, okay, you can upload to Visualizer down the bottom there, save changes, but you can also ask for AI advice. And you can say, well, this is the previous conversation I'd had with another shot. So it remembers what you've talked about before. If you're dialing something in, you can say stuff to it. You can say, this shot was really tasty. What do you think of it? Okay, let's just see what Gemini has to say about this shot. I mean, obviously this is AI and it's going to improve as you feed it more information, more good information about what it needs to learn about. It will get better and better. But at the moment, fantastic news, really tasty is the ultimate goal, blah, blah, blah. You have your thing at 25. It knows my ratio, it knows how long it took, it knows my grind settings, it compares with other things. So it's becoming useful. I mean, obviously it's got a long way to go for it to be really useful, but it's actually an amazing addition to the whole thing. Another thing that I'm finding with just the fact that it's regular Android is that you can, files and things that are immediately available to you from the system rather than having to jump through hoops. And also the Bluetooth just seems to be a lot more stable. So, it seems to be very, very stable and very sort of easy to connect. Much easier than on the DE-1 software where you had to do weird things in the Bluetooth settings and stuff to try and get the connection back if you lost it. So I think that's about it for the actual shot. What I didn't show you was that after the shot, before I did the steam, on the screen for a second is the kind of the report of the shot, which is pretty much like the shot review in the edit mode, where you can edit all the parameters, make sure that you've got everything right, or just say, okay, you don't have to do anything with it. So all in all, fantastic. Right, so let me show you some of the things about the web app that make it so great. I'm just comparing 5 shots over here. I've turned off all the other parameters like flow and yield and temp and stuff, just to make the pressure more clear. These are 5 different Cremina shots, and here's the data from them. The same grind setting. This one's got a finer grind. Actually, there's some different coffees over here, so there's not really a kind of comparison, but you might be wanting to make some comparison. But that's what I really like about it. And also when you move the cursor along, it adjusts the display of what you've got showing there. So if you've got the flow as well, it's going to have the flow column as well and show it. Plus you can show the pre-infusion. You can show where the different areas sort of where the new phases started. So it's really pretty powerful. Similar to Visualizer. Visualizer's got the temperature separately, and it's also got the mixed temperature, which I don't really think there's much use for personally. I want to know what's happening at the basket. And also, we'll visualize this thing where, you know, if it's got the floating data, which is kind of nice because you don't have to scroll down to see it, but it's super jerky at the moment. In Visualizer, you can only compare two shots at a time. And you have to select or deselect the parameters separately for the different shots. Whereas in Decenza, if you don't want to look at anything but pressure, then it does for all the shots, which is pretty good, I think. All right, so I mean, you can't share shots with at the moment with the community as you can with Visualizer. So that's obviously the biggest advantage for Visualizer there. And there is a level of sophistication which is nice about Visualizer, but I really do like the way you can choose shots to compare here, as I say, up to 5. So let me start from the beginning. When you get to your web app, you get to this page over here. This is your home page, and this has got all your shots. All 5,000 shots that I've got are here. You can still do a search if you want to search for Cremina or birthday or whatever thing you want to search for. And if you want to compare, you click on that. You can maybe click on the third one, and you go compare, and then you got your 3 shots to compare. Works fantastically. Over here, you've got the thing that I love is that you can click on this thing and either sleep or wake up your app. So if it's awake already, and I click here to go put to sleep, then it puts it to sleep, and you can wake it up on your normal tablet, which is brilliant. You got your entire shot history here, as you see. You got remote control capabilities using screen copy, whatever it's called, which I've never tried. You've also got your AI connections, all your different AI bits and pieces, your home as automation stuff. If you want to set it up there, you can download the database, upload screensaver material. So if you've got custom screensaver images that you want to use on your machine, you just stick them in here on your computer and load them directly to your machine. The layout editor and theme editor on here are absolutely superb. If you go to, say, for example, theme editor, let me just show you. Here's my app, and I've just woken it up there. If I wanted to change to funky green and pink, boom, done. That's the theme done. If I wanted to go to crazy, there's crazy, or gentle and light, or the default one. This is the app. This is exactly what happened on your tablet. With one click, boom, done. It's fantastic. But also, when you want to customize a color, like for example, if I want to change this primary blue color, when I click on it on here, it does a little flashy thing there, showing me that this is the color that I'm going to be adjusting. So it's just so easy. And when I click on the color, and I can adjust it on the fly and do whatever I want with it. So it really is amazing. You can also save these settings that you've got to the community. So if you think you've got something worth sharing, you can do that. And the other thing which is also magnificent is the layout editor, which is easier to use than on the tablet, and has a couple of things at the moment that you can't do on the tablet. For example, create that button that I told you about, this not the shot plan, it was this one here, this profile edit. Now you can see I've got this button here on the screen here. Let me just show it to you. There it is there. I mentioned to you previously in the video, if I click once, it goes to the list of my profiles. If I double click, it goes to the dflow editor. And if I click and hold, it goes to the advanced editor. So you can create behaviors for custom buttons, and you can choose what you want it to do. So click goes to this, long does this, double click does this, and you can choose from a whole lot of different actions that get triggered when you do that. Again, you can save this thing to a community library, and to share with yourself or with other people. It really is magnificent. Back to the menu here. You've got ability to download a backup of your entire shots and all your settings and everything. You can also look at your AI conversations that you've had. I haven't had any with my PC app. This is connected to my PC, and you've got debugging tools, which you can download a log to send to the developer. So all in all, a really powerful extra little bit that you can sort of access and use. So I'm so liking this software. I really hope it gets developed even further. And it's at the moment it's my one of choice. There's nothing that comes close for usability, in my opinion. Another thing I want to show you just in some sort of detail is the settings. So let me just show you. There's some things that I don't know very well. In connections, you usually see your DE-1 and Bluetooth scale connection status, but this is a simulated connection on this PC app, so there's no real connection here. In preferences, you've got auto sleep and whether you've got your refill kit on. This is for offline mode. Shot map just shows you a map of where Decenza users are around the world. Water refill levels and the warning levels, calibration, battery charging, loads of stuff. I mean, you can see all this. There's lots of great stuff here. Screensaver is very fun more than massively useful. But if you go to, say, for example, Espresso, and you go here and you push sleep, you're going to get, sort of espresso porn, I like to call it, on your machine. You can, there's other ones, landscape, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you can do your personal ones. So if you go to there, this is what I've got. I've just got DE-1. Anyway, so it's basically, that's what I've got because I like it dark and simple. And you can dim it more, so you can have it a lot darker as well. You can show the clock, blah, 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 blah. There's a bunch of things you can do there. Visualizer is obviously, everyone knows that. You enter your details. You can download shots very easily. The AI API is basically for any getting AI answers to your shots, which is quite a cool little thing. Although I think AI's got a bit of a ways to go for completely understanding. About 80% of the time it says grind finer, which isn't always the answer, as we know. Accessibility. This is just for people with difficulties. The themes and layout pages are excellent. We saw a bit earlier on the web app. Here on the tablet, there's a lot we can do, but I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, as Michael has made some really good YouTube videos showing these functions already. Like, for example, sharing your creations with the community, which could be quite fun. Language is language. History, I think, is blank because it's not on the machine. Data is where you choose to give remote access to your DE-1 tablet from the web app we saw earlier. Here you can see the IP address of your tablet, which lets you connect remotely. You can also remove all your remote data, and you can also get daily backups and restore backups, and then you can also import all your data from another tablet. This includes your shots, your presets, themes, layouts, settings. A great thing for upgrading tablets. It just makes it so much easier. So the MQTT is sort of a home assistant smart home thing. I don't use it at all. So update, you can automatically update all your stuff. You can check your updates. And lastly, the About page, where you can donate to the fantastic makers of this software. It's absolutely worth getting your hands on this app and giving it a try. I honestly don't use the default DE-1 app anymore. You can find great conversation about the app on the Decent Diaspora. And if you want download links, go to the GitHub. You can find downloads right there. Also, I'll put the links in the notes down below. And to summarize what I think about this app, I love it.